Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Pi Records. Hope everybody's doing okay. Here's MG from the Surf Junkies. How are you?
Hey Ryan, how's it going? Good. Hanging in there, trying to get through a worldwide pandemic, but nothing serious besides that.
I'd love other than my sanctuary with all my records, I'd rather be no place than where you are right now. With surrounded by a bunch of guitars, soundproof room.
Oh yeah. It's my it's my sanctuary here, the studio where all the music gets made and all the just the playing happens, or whatever.
Awesome. So I want to guess by looking at the headstock, you're not only, but it looks like you're a Fender Man.
You kind of have to be, to some degree, I think, when you're involved in the surf world, and unless somehow you've got a stash of Maserite somewhere or some other things like that. But yep, got some Strats. Currently working on a Jazz Master, and just looking forward to actually getting to use those out in the wild instead of just laying down tracks.
Yeah. Now I noticed some pictures on your Instagram. Was that the yellow Jag that you're working on?
Yeah, it's a yellow Fender Player Series Jazz Master, and it's a funny story about that guitar. I saw some kid trying to sell it on Craigslist, and he said he was looking for a trade on a telly, and I said, well, I've got a telly, and I had an Indonesian made telly that really wasn't to my liking. It was really light and kind of the perfect couch guitar, but nothing that you would want to kind of really have long term and gig with. It seemed very light. It was obvious it was a special run. And so long story short, the kid loved it because the finish was beautiful, and I met him, we traded, and then a month later I heard, can I have my Jazz Master back? My my grandmother gave me that as a graduation gift, and she's really upset that I traded it away. And I guess I was out of town or something, and I didn't see the message for a couple of days. So I was about to respond back. I felt bad and everything, and then he responded before I had a chance to respond back, and he said, "Hey, my late uncle passed away. His dying wish was that I don't trade that guitar." And so within the span of a couple days, like the relative that had given him this guitar changed, and I even got a third text with a different relative. So by that point, I'm like, no, I think you're trying to play me here. So anyway, that being said, I think Fender played me because I took the pick guard off to put in. It had humbuckers in it, and the routes in there were way too small for Jazz Master pickups. So I just had that routed out, and it's on its way. I'll show you right here. Whoops, knocking stuff over here. This is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep, before it had these tiny holes, but now it's legit. So I'm putting that all together here this week, and I'll post to Instagram and maybe play a few samples, and
Well,
it'll be all good.
Where did you say where that one was made?
I think that's made in the Mexico factory.
Okay. I had traded away a Japanese one.
Okay.
Because I'm a telly
Those
guy
are really well
myself.
made.
Yeah, they are. They're really heavy.
Yeah.
But for some reason I just prefer a telly. Kind of always have.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about the Surf Junkies. How did you get together? How many people are in the band? And tell me about your new single.
Sure. No problem. So it kind of, I've always loved surf music and specifically instrumental surf music. Never quite as into the vocal stuff, the Beach Boys or the Jan and Dean stuff, which, harmonically is amazing, but, I'm a guitar player. So, I probably picked up the guitar because I saw Kiss, but, over the year, I lived in Mexico for a number of years, and this was in the years ago. And so it's funny, they're like 20 years behind on television in a lot of areas. So I got to see a lot of shows that my folks grew up with. And so I would hear a lot of like spaghetti Western stuff and, the sort of the Secret Agent Man stuff. And so I always liked sort of all of those interesting guitar tones. And then, once I heard Dick Dale, I was like, oh, what's that? I want to play like that. So, I've always had a love for the genre, but it really took this year where, I was no longer, I've gigged in a lot of different bands over the years, but I was really no longer gigging with anything specific. So I kind of decided to, I was listening to Tequila by the Champs, and I was like, man, I'd love to do a surfed up version of that. And so I'm like, well, hell, I got all the time in the world to do it. So I did. And then I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I can write a few tunes like this. And so then I started writing a few originals, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'd love to play this stuff out for somebody, or if anybody cares. And so I got some guys together, and I found Larry, our other guitar player, and he and I kind of, this is the only band I've ever played in with another guitar player, and fortunately he and I gel really well, so that works well. Our bass player, El Kabong, amazing bass player, and then our drummer Vic Vegas, he's he's the crazy one. So it's the four of us, and the new EP will be coming out later this month. Still putting the finishing touches on the fourth track. It's a 4-song track called Barrel Pounder. The single is called The Tube, the first single off the record, and it's kind of a mid-tempo, heavy on melody kind of surf tune that I think pretty driving. I think people will really dig it, and we should have that out sooner than later. Got Scott Sugiuchi doing the cover artwork. If you're familiar with him, he's done a lot of iconic covers for other surf groups, a lot of the high tide artists, and so we're very happy with the work he's done. I think it's gonna make a big splash when we release it.
Awesome. Now, are you gonna put it out yourself?
We're putting it out digitally ourselves and a limited number of CDs. We're still working on the vinyl side of things, seeing if the different feelers we've put out to a few labels will want to cover that on the vinyl side of things. I think it just makes more sense to affiliate with Missing Fink or High Tide or somebody like that.
Yeah.
On the vinyl side, I think those guys have know how to do it right when it comes to that.
Yeah, definitely. So you're in DC, correct?
Yes.
Do you
DC area. Yep.
Do you ever come up to the High Tide Festival?
No, but we'd love to come up to that, and either to just come hang out and watch, or even play it. So we're close enough that we can make the trek and make it happen. So yeah, but we're just now getting started again with rehearsals. So when is that festival happening this year? Is it?
I'm not sure.
Does it even happen?
I'm not sure. But
okay.
I do know it's a pretty big festival every year. I'm not sure if they're doing it this year though.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a number of YouTube videos, and all kinds of people from the Fathoms, the Surfer Jets, a number of other, of course, Black Flamingos.
Yeah.
So yeah, love to come out and check that out. Yeah, even have family in Jersey, so can make two birds with one stone situation.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So where can people find your music right now? So it is just a single you have out on digital, or is
Right.
there...
Yeah, right now, Bandcamp's the best place to, because we're releasing all 4 songs at once. We did release a kind of spaghetti western tinged vibey tune on Bandcamp, and that's out now on our site. You just search the Surf Junkies, you can find it. If you want to hear the version of Tequila we do have a video on our YouTube channel as well. And I don't know if I can always send you links to those if you want to put those links when you post the episode. Happy to do that if you want me to. But we just wanted to release all 4 songs together as a cohesive EP and go from there. But you can hear 2 of the 4 tunes on our YouTube channel and one of them on the Bandcamp page.
Awesome. Well, now that you're practicing more or at all, what kind of gigs do you see coming up in the future? Are you having like a roundabout plan about what you're going to do?
Yeah, I think it's, when you're in a surf band, it's an interesting situation, right? Because you have a little bit of a narrower appeal, albeit I think a very dedicated fan base, right? So I feel like it might be harder to get a larger crowd. However, I think the crowd you're going to get is by far going to be more enthusiastic than if you're just another rock band. So, our goal is to play on bills with some other area surf bands, to do some of the festivals like we just talked about a few minutes ago. And then any kind of one-off gigs that make sense, maybe opening for any regional or national bands. We've got a good mix of covers and originals, so I think we could do a good 45-minute set that'll be really a great statement representing both who we are as a band and the surf genre overall.
Awesome. I did notice there was a kind of a nod to the traditional surf sound on your single.
Yeah. I mean, I think you really have to respect where things came from and who paved the way before you can kind of break those rules yourself. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love some of this more modern stuff, like the Kilauea guys, Los Freneticos, some of my favorite. I mean, if I can write a song or two that's as good as stuff those guys are doing, then I've been totally successful. But you also got to really embrace that others, the Dick Dales, the Ventures, the lively ones, Surf Riders, any of those guys, because they paved the way, and some of the second wave guys as well.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to say anything that we may not have talked about, touch on some things that you want people to know about. The floor is yours.
Okay, just want to say thank you for thank you to you for what you're doing for the genre and trying to raise the profile of surf music. But just want everyone to keep an eye out for our new EP. It's called Meet the Surf Junkies, and it will be out later during the month of August here. And we're excited. It's come out well, and we can't wait to get out there and start playing. So if you're in the Metro DC area, definitely keep an eye out. You can go to the Surf Junkies band.com and keep an eye. We're going to be posting dates there very soon. And then hopefully we'll see you at some of the festivals and on the surf radio channels.
Awesome. Thanks so much, MG. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I enjoyed listening to your single. Hopefully,
Thanks so much.
I'll get to hear the new stuff soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll get a CD. I'll get one to you.
Awesome. Awesome.